Hello, welcome to Pour Us. Today we are tasting Canadian whiskies. Although we haven't had these specific ones yet, we have had their counterparts.
Yes.
It's kind of there's a few firsts in there for me. Tell me a little bit about your first with Canadian Club.
The first whiskey I sipped on the rocks that I really liked was the Canadian Club Sherry Cask. I was working for a company and the regular Sherry Cask was one of our bottles, and I was drinking with my buddy Eric, and he and I both really liked it. And then years later, we both kind of realized, oh, they don't make it anymore. They discontinued it. But I just remember it being sweeter, lighter. This was before I got into higher proofs, before I would even have attempted something along the line of a hazmat in terms of heat. But it was just a nice, easy sipper. And the reason I know I definitely wasn't a whiskey drinker back then was because I remember how much better it got as it diluted and diluted and diluted.
You waited for that cube to melt a little bit.
Right.
So, and everybody would say, use the big cube. They don't melt as fast. And I was like,
we didn't have big cubes
back.
We didn't have big cubes in South Dakota. What are you, crazy?
No, we didn't. Unless you're cutting a chunk out of the lake when it freezes over.
Anyway, so this is, it's in Windsor, Canada. Made at the Hiram Walker Distillery. Comes in at 84 proof. I actually got to tour the distillery years ago.
Really?
Yep. And that was the place I told you about where we'd gone out, all the sales reps and everything had gone out the night before, and just going into the barrel room, people were still hung over with just the fumes in the barrel room were having to run outside because they just couldn't handle it.
Right.
But that was a long night. So 15 years. I can't get any specifics on the mash bill. Spots I've seen, it just says, unspecified mash bill.
That's what I got with this too. Not to ruin it or jump ahead, but same thing. And I just wonder if it's because of the blends that they put together. They don't specifically have those put down, or they just don't want to share them.
Right. Well, and, full disclosure has become such a big thing around here in the U.S., especially with all our small distilleries. But, maybe it's just not as big of a concern in Canada, or they change it up a bunch. Actually, the first whiskey Bloody Mary I ever had was at Windsor.
Okay.
And it was a really good Bloody Mary.
I don't think I've had a whiskey Bloody Mary.
Yeah, well, we haven't at the Whiskey Biscuit.
I've had your regular Bloody Mary, and that is good. So,
I didn't get anything at first off the nose, but now I'm starting to get something.
Some of the sweet fruits and a little bit
So
of
I'm getting
vanilla.
more of the fruits off the nose, but I get a little maybe. No, it's not brown sugar. It's not that potent.
Some sort of sweetness.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not vanilla or...
Well, I'm going to jump in.
Me too. Smelled enough of it.
There is sweetness to it. There's not a ton of heat, but there's a little heat there. Not a ton.
Bit.
But I'm getting a full amount of flavor in this.
Yeah. I don't know what that sweetness is.
It is 15 years. So there better be some flavor in here.
Yeah, right.
I think if there was any more of the sherry cask in it, it would start to get offensive for me. So $65 to $80 around we're at, Colorado area we're at. That's what you can get it for. I don't think it's readily available. My understanding is this was a one-time release, but I don't know if I would search it out for $65, $80 again.
Right.
A while back, I told Brian, hey, I come across this 15-year sherry cask. I think I'm going to get a bottle and try it. And it got him talking about Crown Royal and his family.
My first. Well, that's Crown Royal is my first whiskey, too, that I sipped on a rock. And that's what eventually got me to drinking it neat.
Well, I got to admit, when you told me you got the Crown Royal, in my head I thought, oh, God, I hope he didn't get one of the flavors,
Peach.
But I thought, okay, he's into it. But I am very, very surprised and very interested to see how this 18-year goes. I did not think you were going to pull the trigger on
I didn't
18.
think I was going to either. I was intrigued by it. It really hit me of something I've never tried before because I've had Crown Royal for so many years in my drinking career, and it was the first one.
It's a family thing.
It's a family thing. All of my brothers and dad and everybody drinks it, and it's in my dad's liquor. I bring back nice bottles of sipping whiskey, and they're just pull out the Crown Royal and pour a little glass of that.
His dad came up once, and apparently Crown Peach was a tough thing to get in Iowa.
Yeah.
And so he had to stock up and get a bunch of Crown Peach to bring back to the base.
Sure he
to
bought
show
like
everybody.
3 or 4 cases at Bevy's. I think it was about $400 worth of Crown Peach that he brought back. But then we went back and it's literally nowhere. I was getting phone calls from bartender friends that were, do you guys have Crown Peach there? Are you coming back? So, I mean, I've sipped it with them. It's made some great memories with me. It gets a little bit sweeter with me, but for that trick, I do put it on the rocks. Yeah. And let the water kind of mellow out that sweetness for me. And it was a nice, refreshing flavor. I think I'm excited to try it. It is the 18-year extra rare. I've never had that. It's pretty fancy.
You know the best way to try it? Take it out of the damn box.
That's true. Then you got the bag. Nice bag.
That was nice. This is my first time seeing the bottle, so I like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's always nice when it's on that rather than the labels. Well, I shouldn't say always, because there's something about cool old artwork labeled, but...
Right. Crown Royal, 18-year extra rare. 40 proof, or no, 80 proof, 40%.
So this is going to be a little bit lighter alcohol. Jeez, I'm spilling.
I just throw my whiskey around. It's going to be a little bit lighter than the Canadian Club. And for 18 years, it's
we got decent color.
A little bit darker. Doesn't seem super thick on the glass.
So the aroma, the nose hits me quicker on this one, which kind of surprised me with the lower alcohol in it.
You get the vanilla. The vanilla.
I'm sure I'm wrong, but I'm getting like lemony vanilla.
Vanilla and some stone fruits on the, on the nose.
To drink a whiskey like this, you got to have some stone fruit.
We'll cut that out. I hope we don't.
Okay.
Let's taste it.
Let's taste it. Well, first off, that's smooth as can be.
It is smooth.
I don't get much at the beginning, but then the end it rolls into like a vanilla pudding.
I get a lot of the light oak barrel, 18 years aged. You get some of the barrel. And then I do get the caramel. Comes through a little bit.
Maybe like a soft Werther's, not a hard candy Werther's, but like a soft Werther's. Maybe that's where I'm kind of getting. Maybe that's where I'm getting that pudding kind of feel. Like, when you have like say a caramel and it's been sitting in your mouth and you swallow it and now you just have that flavor just kind of still resting in there. Like your saliva's a little thicker and all that stuff even. Yeah. I'm getting that kind of feel off of it. Well, and this is a special one that again, just your brother loving Crown as much as he does. This will be a fun one for him to get to try. So
he doesn't even get to come near it because I haven't even told the story where him and my older brother Mark took my special bottle of Crown Royal.
And how old were you probably?
In my 20s.
Right. So this is
Randy and I lived together and I had a bottle of Crown Royal Reserve, which at the time for me was a nice bottle to have in my...
A 20-year-old living with your brother.
Yeah. And then one night, me and my oldest brother Mark and my younger brother Randy were hanging out after the bars were closed, and we were looking for something to drink. And I said, "Ha! I have a bottle for you guys." So I went and got it out, and they are snickering and chuckling, blowing little snot bubbles, just cannot contain themselves. And I'm like, "Oh, don't worry, guys. Let me get this." And I pop it open. As I'm taking this swig, I'm catching on to the joke, which is that those two brothers of mine had already drank this entire bottle of Crown Royal weeks ago. They filled it up with water, tea, and a little Coke and matched it with another bottle of Crown Royal and put it back up in the cupboard for me. So when I came as the hero, check out my bottle of Crown Reserve, I'll share it with you. They weren't as excited as I was about it.
But afterwards, did they tell you it was good?
They didn't even give me an honest review. They didn't. But it's fun to dig back into it. I think it's a great bottle to have with the collection.
I don't regret my purchase. I don't think you regret your purchase by any means.
No.
But I don't know if I would rush out and buy another one. When this is gone, I'll probably forget about it.
Let us know any other Canadian whiskeys you think we should try. We've just kind of brought in a couple that meant something to us. You have some ideas, let us know. We'd love to do another Canadian whiskey video and try some more options. So we'll try it out. Give them a shot anyway. And we'll revisit these. So let us know what you're thinking. And don't forget, always pour us. Pour us. How do you just forget this is on the shelf?
Well,
it has your name on it. You mentioned this in the story.
so this is where we
No,
went.
you know what? You don't even get to tell it now. He has the bottle. You got to see it.